Hey, this is Stu Schaefer, and I'm going to explain how do you stop the hormone and weight gain in menopause, the hormone crash, the weight gain coming on, because, this can be crazy, especially when you've never changed anything. All of a sudden, you turn 50, you start gaining weight. It's like almost uncontrollable. And do your hormones have to go down? Actually, I'm going to explain how they don't and how you can avoid this. So jump on in here. Let's take a look at this. So what's the problem? Well, the problem is when you hit menopause, most people say, well, that's it. Your hormones are going to go down. You're going to gain weight. You're going to have this brain fog, and you're going to have all the mood swings until you come out of it. Okay, that's not true. Now, how would I know this? I'm a guy. Well, for the last 24 years, I've actually worked with women over 50 to help reverse these things so they can lose weight, burn off body fat, feel amazing again, and literally coast through menopause without any symptoms or even reversing their symptoms. And I'll show you. I'll just give you a few quick examples. We'll post some pictures up here. The first one is Marcia. When Marcia came to me, we were able to really reverse the weight gain, get her energy back, get rid of the mood swings. She feels so incredible. Kristen, another client, same thing. In her 50s, was struggling with, hey, all of a sudden I'm doing the same things I've always done. It ain't working anymore. What the heck? She was able to reverse all the symptoms. Betsy, she was too. She was able to get rid of her body fat. She was able to boost her energy, increase her sleep, get rid of any brain fog. It was phenomenal. Same with Liz. Same exact thing. Liz was in her late 50s and same thing. Could lose the weight like no problem. Get back to feeling like she was 30 again. Like there wasn't even menopause symptoms. And even Suzanne. Okay. Same thing. You can see how much body fat she lost. And again, no more brain fog, no mood swings, lots of energy, great sleep, no hot flashes, none of these things. This is why it's so important. Now look, I've been working with women for 24 years. Your bodies require something different. You have to be more precise. So why do the hormones kind of bomb and spin out of control anyway? And how do you reverse this or avoid it altogether? Well, it's actually not as complex as you may think. Really, the big shift when you're a woman is when you go into menopause, your ovaries, they kind of shut down. You already know this. And those are what are producing your hormones, your sex hormones. So your estrogen, progesterone, pregnenolone, testosterone, all of the, and there's several other sex hormones, but those are the big players that we always hear about. They're producing those hormones. They're regulating those hormones. Well, when your ovaries kind of turn off, you would imagine, well, nothing's producing the hormones anymore, right? No, actually, as a woman, you're so perfectly designed that when your ovaries kind of shut off, your adrenal glands, your adrenals take over, and they can actually start producing those hormones in lieu of the ovaries. Now, normally, this is great, except for what? Well, these days, women are incredibly stressed. They're doing extreme diets. They're over-exercising. They're not eating correctly to stabilize this. And so, unfortunately, those ovaries, the adrenal glands, become so busy producing the adrenaline, the cortisol, the other stress hormones that they can't get to the sex hormones. And this is why some women will plummet into menopause and have the worst symptoms. A lot of times it's former athletes because they're so used to putting the pedal to the metal, to being so physically active. They don't realize how much that's actually stressing their body. And then pow, all of a sudden everything comes to a point. Now, let me show you, the wrong weight loss techniques are one of the primary causes of this shift. And if you skip these things, you can actually, or you get these things right, you can reverse these menopause symptoms and stop the crash, okay? So there's 4 mistakes that people make when they try to lose weight. 4. All 4 of these that I'm about to explain have the same 5 side effects. So number 1 is calorie restriction. Number 2 is cutting carbs, just eliminating carbs, saying, that's great and I'll lose weight and this is fantastic. The number 3 is fasting, intermittent fasting, going all day without eating, having some little tiny window to eat. And then number 4 is over-exercising. Okay, those 4 things. So they all have the same 5 side effects. The first side effect is it sends your adrenaline and cortisol way up. And again, now the adrenals, they're so busy producing that adrenaline and cortisol, they can't get to the sex hormones. This is one of the top reasons that women will experience such drastic changes in their hormones when they hit menopause. Now, there is a really bad side effect to this. Not only does it prevent you from burning fat and can actually cause you to burn muscle, cortisol is what they call a catabolic hormone. It causes your body to lose muscle, which will ultimately slow your metabolism down. Not only that, but when your adrenaline and cortisol are elevated for too long or they're too high, your body releases those fight or flight hormones, okay? They're called epinephrine and norepinephrine. And these hormones will pull your blood flow away from your organs and send it to your muscles and your brain, Well, the problem with this is now it pulls it away from your digestion organs, and this causes women to develop gut issues. It could be leaky gut, could be candida overgrowth, SIBO, small intestinal bacteria overgrowth, or several other gut issues. But when this happens, and you have a gut issue and you don't treat it fast enough and it lingers, this will almost always cause chronic disease or autoimmune. It definitely causes inflammation. Well, that spikes the cortisol even more, and now you fall into a vicious cycle. Now, the second side effect from doing these 4 different weight loss techniques, which I don't agree with, I don't recommend that you cut calories or cut carbs or do fasting or overexercise. If you do things correctly, you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that, okay? But the second side effect is your metabolism will always slow down. You'll cut calories, and then over time your metabolism will drop to match that. So then you have to cut more calories and more calories. And as you get older, and we've all met people like this in their 80s, you know, they're barely eating anything just to, and they don't lose weight, they maintain the weight. I mean, they're just barely eating anything. Their body has slowed down to match the less and less and less that you're eating. So you've got to be careful that you stay away from that. The third side effect is unstable blood sugar. It's all over the place. When you're fasting or cutting carbs or not eating enough or overexercising, you'll create a blood sugar dip. Okay, well, then the body releases hormones to get that blood sugar back up to normal. Then when you eat, your body overcompensates. It's like a pendulum effect. And now you create a spike. So when you create blood sugar dips and spikes all day long, this is not good for your hormones. It's not good for weight loss. It speeds up the aging process. You want stable blood sugar, stable blood sugar. Now, a couple unique side effects to fasting, and to some degree, maybe if you're trying to cut calories and you're not eating very many meals, say maybe 1 or 2 per day, is in order to get enough food, those meals have to be really big. So your body can't absorb it, can't process the big sized meals. And you'll even hear a lot of people in the fasting community say, hey, eat as few meals as possible because every time you eat, it's going to spike your blood sugar and you don't want that. That's only true if you're eating too big of a meal, if you've been starving yourself all day and you have that overcompensating pendulum effect, and if you're not combining the right foods at each meal. If you're not doing those things, then you'll be okay. But when you eat too much, it's like taking too much vitamin C. All right, you take too much vitamin C at once, you can't absorb all of it. You end up peeing it out. Well, with food, you don't pee it out. But if you eat too many carbs at one time, or too many fats all at once, or too much protein all at once, or a mixture, your body will take and digest it and then absorb whatever it can. And anything above that threshold, you will store it as fat for later. Okay, so this causes you to store body fat. Now, the fifth side effect is what the people in the fasting community say. If you eat too big of a meal, that will cause a blood sugar and insulin spike, and that'll also cause you to store fat. So if you're doing these things wrong, you know, these weight loss methods, and you're causing these 5 side effects, well, no wonder your hormones go out of whack. No wonder you get this menopause weight gain, because you're putting your body in extreme stress. You're working against your own body. You're throwing it out of balance. Now, I've got a couple of videos that you ought to watch. I'm going to splash one up right now. And this is all about the difference. What should you do instead? And that involves eating the right food at the right time in the right combination. I'm going to put a video up that kind of explains that in detail. So this is the alternative to cutting calories. If you do this correctly, the food you eat won't even make it to your fat cells. And the food you eat will be whisked away and used in so many different parts of the body, it won't get stored as fat. It'll actually cause you to tone muscle and burn fat. And this is when you don't have to cut the calories to lose weight. You can do it a different way. So I'm going to splash that video up right here. All right, now, the other big problem is you're not eating enough. Most women, like I said, as you diet and diet and diet and get older, actually they're not eating enough. And ironically, all the clients that I showed you earlier, they all had to eat more and more and more. Most of them, I think, if not all of them, were eating 50% more than when they started, and that's what allowed them to lose weight, is actually eating more food. Because when you eat enough and you get the right nutrients and vitamins and minerals, again, your body can support some of that stress. So the adrenals, it takes the strain and the stress off them, and they can actually start producing those sex hormones again. Now, if you started this before menopause or even before perimenopause, it's really likely you might not even have any symptoms as you went through menopause. You would totally avoid that hormone plunge and the weight gain and all the brain fog and mood swings, okay? Now, you've got to also balance exercise and the mindset. So look at this little triad over here. The top circle here has an M. That stands for mindset. The second circle here has an F. Well, that stands for food, okay? And then the last circle has an E. That stands for exercise. What people don't realize is your food and your exercise, they have to be in sync. Okay, if you do a diet and then they're out of sync, you're going to hurt your body. You're going to throw it out of balance again. Or if you do a big workout plan, and now it's all out of sync, you're exercising way too much, same thing. You're going to throw your body out of alignment, and you need the mindset. Do you know how much stress we're under these days? Emotional stress, mental stress, working extra hours, taking care of families. You've got to understand how to use your mindset. You've got to understand how to use it to affect your body. This is so incredibly important. Now, when you get all three in sync, the mindset, the activity or the exercise, and the eating, this is when you put your body into this perfect state where now it's going to fire off the right hormones, the right enzymes to burn fat, and your adrenals are going to be untaxed. They're going to be free to produce those hormones again that have been missing. This is the main reason that women's hormones fall out of balance to begin with, and you can absolutely correct it. The body is resilient. It is designed to heal itself and balance itself, and when you put it in the right environment, it will do just that. Now, I know I'm a guy, but trust me, I've been working with women for 24 years, women over 50, and I have case study after case study after case study, and none of it's theory. It's all been practiced and tested and proven and perfected. This is one of the big deals. So I hope this was helpful. Now I'm going to splash a couple other videos up here that you're absolutely going to want to watch. I'll see you on the next one, and I hope that you enjoyed this. All right, take care.